Pastor Benjamin here for another short clip of real life faith application stories. It's the end of the day, and I got to tell you, today was not my flipping day. I did a contract recently and a painting project at a house, and in part of the contract I said, look, I will power wash your patio. Well, I didn't say the phrase look. I had done work for them before. I'd power washed their patio and steps and property before. And in the contract, it said I'd be glad to power wash your patio again for free, just as something nice to do. As a painter, I don't have the opportunity, I don't feel like I have the opportunity to bless people, to care for people, to minister to people. So sometimes the only way I can do it is by using the resources I have. So I thought, you know what? Let me just be loving and kind, and here you go. Here's a free, probably $300, $400 power wash job. And so I have two things I power wash with. This tiny little green power wash nozzle, and it puts out sometimes 3,000 psi. That's power pressure per square inch. And man, it cleans some things. But it takes forever to do an entire patio or driveway or entire house. So I bought another cool thing. Just ignore the fact that it's a DeWalt. I love DeWalt stuff, so DeWalt, I totally dig your stuff, but I'm sorry, this is a negative response. So this is an 18-inch steel deck surface cleaner. And so what you do is you hook up your power washer to it, and it spins these guys around. And instead, I mean, look at the difference here. This is an inch wide, and this is 18 inches wide. So I've used this for about a year to clean driveways, to clean patios. And I remember when I first cleaned their patio, it totally bit. I'm like, this inch is really strong. I'm struggling with this inch wide nozzle for their patio. And it's sandstone, which means 1 inch, 3,000 PSI crammed through 1 inch is gonna potentially ruin some of their sandstone. So I'm like, I'm gonna love them, I'm gonna bless them, it's gonna be super easy, it's gonna take 45 minutes. This was not my day. It's sunny now, as you can see. Earlier it was pouring. Got my rain suit on. I'm gonna take my deck. One point I forgot to mention is I thought that I would clean this patio and like serving them would be easy because I take all my power wash and stuff and just do it at the same day painting. Well, it turns out the super deck was totally broken. It was spinning. Actually, it was barely spinning. It was kind of going like this and then stopping, this and then stopping. And so I couldn't power wash while I was painting the house. I thought it was a pressure issue with my power washer, so I tried to take the pressure gauge off. I broke the pressure gauge, had to wait probably 3 or 4 days to get a new piece from North Carolina to fix my power washer, to bless these people for free. So I finally get my part in, 70 bucks, waited 3 or 4 days. I go to their house just today. It's pouring rain. I'm pumped because my power washer is going to work. The deck's going to work. Guess what? It didn't work at all. So I tried for about 20 to 25 minutes to get the power washer and the deck working. No go. So I spent probably an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours in the pouring rain using this flippin' thing to bless somebody. Man, was I frustrated. I was resentful. I thought to myself, why did I agree to this? And I had to kind of navigate all of my frustration to kind of put it back in the category of, wait, you wanted to bless them. You wanted to care for them. It doesn't always have to be on your terms. Like when we say yes to something, to serve and care for someone, we don't always know how it's going to go. And I just can't tell you enough how annoyed I was that my system, my power washing system wasn't going to work. And it all boils down to me wanting to bless them and support them and care for them the way I wanted to do it. I thought that I was going to get away nice and easy of caring for them and blessing them. I do have to apologize for the title, that serving sometimes sucks. I know that's not the nicest language, but sometimes serving people totally sucks. It doesn't pan out the way we want to. There's lots of curveballs. Sometimes there's pain and suffering. Sometimes it's just flat out miserable to care for people. And I was thinking through the process of power washing today that we can't always love people the way we want to love them. And it doesn't always go the way we want it to go. And that's just the way it is in the kingdom. Like, loving people well is not always smooth. Caring for people does not always mean life is going to be easy. It's often going to involve sacrifice, suffering, and mess. And often it's going to involve caring for other people's mess. And so there's a passage in the Bible where Jesus says, if you want to follow me, foxes don't have homes, birds don't have nests, people don't have any place to lay their head. And on top of that, like, the way Jesus brings us life is by putting himself through the most miserable form of suffering. Like, when Jesus is in heaven, I kind of sometimes picture the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit having this conversation of, how are we going to clean up all these people? How are we going to help love them? And I picture, like, maybe the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit kind of saying, not me, not me. But ultimately, Jesus says, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to want to do it. And I know it's going to be messy, and I know it's going to be hard, and I know it's not going to go the way we ever... Well, they knew the way it was going to go, right? But I picture them thinking, Jesus maybe saying, isn't there another way to do this? Isn't there another way to clean the patio? Isn't there another way to fix the mess and suffering? And the three got together and said, there's no other way. We've got to do it this way. We've got to engage in their mess. We've got to clean them the way they need to be cleaned, and it's not going to go easy. And Jesus says, I'm all in. So not only do we not have a home and a place to lay our head when it comes to caring for people, it's not just going to go smooth and dandy. It's going to be miserable sometimes. But not only that, but Jesus says, I'm going to sign up. I'm going to sign all over that page. I'm just going to give everything I've got to clean their patio or to clean their life the exact way it needs to be done. And I'm going to do it with a willing heart, and I'm going to do it in a loving manner. And I remember in the Garden of Gethsemane when Jesus actually says, Father, would you take this cup? Meaning, Father, is there any other way to do it? And the Father says, there's no other way to clean their patio. You've got to dive in full force and just love the junk out of them. So friends, as you think about blessing people, about serving people, just with your everyday resources, with the time you have, the bandwidth you have, remember, just go into it knowing it's probably not going to end up the way I expected. I'm probably not going to be able to bless them the way I wanted to, but they need what I've got. And they need, and I need what Jesus has got. And Jesus was willing to do it, so I can't encourage you enough to identify ways to bless people, and then just trying to do it with the best you've got inside. I know that serving can suck sometimes. And again, pardon me for using that kind of language, but sometimes that's the best way to say it. I know it stinks sometimes, but God's saying, I have crafted you, I have biologically and sociologically placed you in this position to bless them and love them this way. And I will give you the power and the presence of the Holy Spirit to do what's needed in that moment. All right, gang. Go get them. I care for you. Don't know who you are, but I love you and care for you. And I know that God's got your back as you seek to serve and care for people. Take care.